Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to Dreamy Dream Man with Sensei Bob. I'm in Asheville, North Carolina. I needed a little change. Came to see friends. I drove down the hill on I-26 from Johnson City, and it was a beautiful day. I mean, just unbelievably beautiful. I will, but I really haven't been here since '98. And I was just sitting with some friends talking. And I was musing about my experience here. I got here in '91 and left in '98. B, when did you get here? What year did you arrive?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah. What year? 90. And you guys came from New England?
From Old Mexico.
Old Mexico. Mexico City?
What's that?
Mexico City?
No. Out in the country.
Out in the country. How long were you living there?
Several years.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Holy moly. Hmm. And then you said, you drove through Asheville and said, this is just like Mexico.
Kind of like that. A little bit like that.
Did your vehicle break down?
It did. How did you know?
Well,
I ended up pulling my '59 Apache truck with a rented rider van
up from there.
From Arkansas, from Hope, Arkansas.
Oh. So you were heading for Asheville.
Yeah. We were crossing the Red River.
Hmm. So what motivated you to come here?
I wanted to go to the border of Texas. Helen wanted to go back to the Boston, Cambridge area.
And this is right in between. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, that was a good decision. Served you well. And that's Asheville. Lots of people, like my friends here, who had that, stay in Texas or go to Boston, right? Well, let's go to Asheville. And would you say that was the first wave, or were there other waves? I mean, so pretty much Asheville was put in amber with the Great Depression and them not being able to pay their debt.
Yes, to all those things.
Yeah. And then from World War II until when do you think the first wave?
Are we on your YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Because it's wigging me out. I'm getting all sorts of static and high frequency sounds in my ears.
Uh-oh. Mind control. Anyway. So Asheville is that kind of interesting place, right in the middle of wherever. I said, tomorrow I'm going to go and find places that have pretty good Wi-Fi and give you a taste of Asheville today. So until then.
We've got pretty good Wi-Fi.
Yeah. But you're not a coffee house with a bunch of people. I could go interrogate.
Yeah, so you can do your palm reading.
Yeah, everything. My Sensei Al Bobness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I knew where to tell you to go. There are a ton of places.
Oh, there's a ton of places. So the real place is, where should I park? And
I would park here.
just walk down. Yeah. It's not that far.
No. I mean, it depends. I don't know what your walking capabilities are.
I can walk slow. I can walk. I guess I would first walk and go to that. What's that little restaurant? Do they have breakfast there?
I don't. Oh, yes.
That's the first place I'll go.
Yeah.
And get a cup of coffee and see what's there. I'm sure they have Wi-Fi.
I would imagine so. I mean, they're a good little place. I don't really go there.
Right.
Helen does.
Right.
So she would know. I don't know if she would know if they have Wi-Fi.
Every place has, pretty much. So that was a little interesting. The three queens, and I loved it when all four of you piped up saying, "Al, you were only here 10 years. We've been here 40 years or 30 years or whatever."
Really?
Yeah, you said that.
Those sons of bitches.
I think you said that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I took it 100% because all I had was that little snapshot between 91 and 98. That was it. And I really didn't come back. I came back like visiting you guys to go to Florida. You were my spot to visit.
Yeah, I remember when you used to do that Florida stuff.
Yep. For a good 8 years or so, maybe more. So 98, maybe 10 years. And after my folks died, and I saw the handwriting on the wall, I started paring down my lifestyle. So this, what would you call it? Is it an exhibition that you're putting together, or a curriculum, or
It is definitely not a curriculum. It is currently an exhibition, an accompanying publication, some public programming, Latinx community outreach programming, and an educational symposium.
So when you say programming, television show, going into neighborhoods and doing it in their high school gymnasium?
No, what I mean is a thing called Bizarre Sábado, which is a series of, not sure yet, 6 or 7 Saturdays that are, each Saturday is dedicated to an aspect of public programming, that live programming that will involve the community. Yeah.
So Bazaar Sabado would mean like the bazaar, like the shopping center kind of thing?
Actually, it comes from a thing called Bazaar Sabado, which is like that, bazaar, that
It's on Saturday?
that's on Saturday, that a woman who had been a student at Black Mountain and then moved to Mexico, she set it up, she and her husband, she was a weaver in Mexico City in 1960, and it still goes on today.
Yeah.
She's long dead, of course.
Right.
And that was a place for craftspeople to have a sort of autonomous, a place to meet and people and be seen and get together, but also for them to sell their
Wares.
Yeah. And so this is Bizarre Sábado.
Right.
And one Saturday might be spoken word stuff, one electronic music, one contemporary take on a traditional crafts market, maybe some Latinx heritage stuff, different kinds of programming for each different Saturday that they occur.
And do you have a target audience?
Yes, everyone in the area, in the region.
In this region?
Yeah. So that would be between Tampa and DC.
Right.
No, let's say between Atlanta and DC.
Okay. Why not Tampa? That because
I'll say Tampa.
yeah, I would say I would
Florida once.
because there's so many. It's Florida is so Hispanic. It's bizarre. It's there's more Hispanic history and flavor. There are still places all over. This is a place I used to live in Miami. That the architecture was still the Spanish architecture of the time.
Yeah.
Way in the back, and the Indians who were there, their spirits were still there. And if you were drunk or stoned enough or sensitive enough, you could feel them, see them, and they would do things. So it was quite interesting. Florida has a lot of that juice, and the corporate world has done everything it could to destroy it. And
I think if we can make it, I might have one of those Saturdays with the Queen.
Of England,
Yeah.
that would be nice.
Bring her here. And,
Yeah.
She didn't have much to do with Mexico, but she knows about colonialism. And
Oh yeah. And she was, and they all were like this.
Oh yeah, no, they were like this.
They were like that. Yes, they were like that.
Yeah.
You know what "fuck" stands for? The word "fuck."
Yeah. Free us.
Fornicate under church and king.
Well, I guess if you're a conspiracy theorist such as yourself, then,
Well, that's what the word means. I mean, it's not a conspiracy or a theory. Actually, the Catholic Church brought that one on. They're really good organizers.
okay, so I have got to clean those things. Well,
What do you need to clean them? Just break them up? Do you need a hand?
no, I got it, thanks.
Yeah.
But if you talk to me and tell me, like, the story of your whole life, beginning when you were 3.
3?
Yeah.
Well, actually, my whole life, my life starts when I was born. And my mom...
one of those right to life people? God.
No. My mother tried to kill us. Like, she killed 3 of us.
Yeah.
I mean, she was not designed to be a mother. She was designed to be a cocktail, party hostess. The girl with the mostest. That was my mom.
When was the last time you were in Sicily?
Sicily?
And I'm talking Cicely Tyson.
Oh, you blindsided me on that one, bro. You blindsided me.
I didn't intend to go there. I was thinking the old country.
Yeah, the old country. Yes. Well, my grandma, she came from the islands.
Well, that's why I was thinking of it.
Right, and she was, on the islands out there. They weren't like the mainland, the boot folk. The island folk were actually Nordic and Celtic, and most people don't, because there are a lot of blonde-haired, blue-eyed, green-eyed Italians. Have you met any? Yeah. Okay. And that's where they were cousins to Thor. So her parents were like when I was 16, I guess, maybe, no, I would be 19 in 2000. In 1969, when they walked on the moon. Yeah. My grandma and I stayed up all night watching, and 5 a.m, they're walking on the moon, right? And my grandma looks at me and she goes, Al, when I was your age, I lived on an island in off the shore of Sicily. And it was a mud hut that was 1,000 years old. We had no windows. We had no doors. And the animals slept with us. And I wasn't going to, my mother and father wanted more for me. So they taught me all they could and then sent me on my way. And I got myself to America. And she goes, here I am. And you are right about the age I went to America and met your grandfather on on the ship. And now I'm sitting in an apartment and I am watching a man walk on the moon on a television in my living room. And we had no indoor plumbing, no water, no electricity, no gas, no nothing, just a mud hut and no windows and no door and the animals. And she goes, and now I'm watching this guy walk on the moon. And she said, you will see even larger changes than that. So,
You said, like what, Grandma? And she said, Lindsey Graham.
right, Lindsey Graham. As senator. What a puddinhead. I mean, he is the example of the best legislator money can buy. What a guy. He can turn on a dime. He can say one thing. Did you ever see the when Rudy Giuliani was on Fox and he was being interviewed by Mike Wallace's son? And so Wallace goes, so, Mr. Giuliani, you said such and such the other day, and here's the videotape, and they play it. And Giuliani goes, I didn't say that. What did you say? And, and then he said something else. And then you mean to say you're saying this now? And then he goes, I didn't say that. And then Wallace goes, no, you just said it 20 seconds ago. We have the video. Well, hey, Bob, play back the videotape. And they did that. It was like Abbott and Costello, who's on first, what's on second. Oh, yeah. And he did it to him about 5 times. And at the end, when poor guy can't say a word, Giuliani says, listen, don't you realize there is no truth? It's whatever we say and whatever the narrative is and what the most people will believe. That's the truth. And he's right. And it's been that way for forever. Question is, will the audience wake up?
I think we know the answer.
But see, the thing is, as long as you and I do things like you're doing and I'm doing, and you're doing it in a larger public way, because you can, that's really all that matters.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. It adds reality to the show. Well, and no one's saying anything anyway. No one's. Oh, one person's there. Hello, one person. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with your Sensei Al Bob. And here it is, beginning of the month. I got my Social Security check, so I ventured out and I'm visiting old friends. And it was a beautiful day driving down, and it's been a beautiful day here. And tomorrow I'm going to explore downtown Asheville, North Carolina. So be ready for that one. This is like a public announcement, So I'd love to see a good showing. Oh, now there's 2. Hey, how about some comments? How about some thumbs up? How about some money in my PayPal? That would be nice. Don't want that account to die. Anyway, it's been very nice at the Deep Green. The rich people there, the last year and a half, they bought up everything and cut the tops of mountains and did about $40 million worth of development. And really rich people came and bought those lots for ridiculous amounts of money. Just the friggin' lot that is like top of a mountain, nothing there. There's a road that kind of goes up there, and you get your less, about a half an acre, and you pay $300,000. And even though it's on top of a mountain, it's not really a great view. It's not the, view of Watauga Lake. It's because they flooded out this whole valley of Sawtooth Mountains. The lake is all these mountains, so there are all these peaks all through it. So These guys are on one corner end of the lake, and the lake is gigantic. It's a 1,200 mile, tract of the coast, and they're at the very end of it, and muddy cul-de-sac. And these rich people spent a ridiculous fortune, and now they have to go build their own house. Right? That should be fun. So this company came in and bought up a few. There were a number of, um, gated communities, right? And they bought them up, and so they own a good 40% of one of the whole coast of um, Watoga Lake, and it'll be and they've already did things to it that has changed the hydrology of the whole end of the valley, right? My water has changed. The earth is changing. Certain plants are dying. Other ones are becoming more strong. My garden, I probably will only plant beans because that's all that seems to want to grow there. Anyway, and beans are good for you. I take a look at the sunset while I get my real eyes together here. What do I do with my eyeballs? Over here. Yep. Good. Yep, we're getting there. So where did we first meet?
It was at that strip club
Uh,
down on the river.
yeah, down on the river.
Remember? And I put $1
In my G-string. Yep.
And
Yep, I was called Mary Lou. Guess what gender I am. I was ahead of my time.
yeah, I remember you gave me some good heads on that.
Yeah. Head. I was really good ahead of my time. Yep. Ed, good to see you, buddy. I've been at the same house for 12 years. The landlord gave me 60 days notice. Isn't that nice of them? The end of April. Well, Ed, you can come live with me. If you are a camper, I have Cadillac camping. Come on down. I'm right off a lake. If you like to fish, there it is. I'm surrounded by rivers and waterfalls. Very, very nice. And it's pretty much, I would enjoy company, right? And it might be a good place for you to step off into. What neighborhood are you, Ed? And remember, any of you guys want to come visit? Let's see. She said it was nothing personal. Of course, it's not personal. It's just about avaricious capitalism in California. Well, buddy, Tennessee. I'm right up in the that little squirrely eastern point. Virginia's on one side, North Carolina's the other side. Over here is West Virginia, and on the other side of that is Arkansas. So I'm in this. It's really squirrely, really interesting, super duper energetic kind of place. So like I said, if you're a camper, how old are you, Ed? It's I'm 70s. I'm in my 70s, and it is, and I'm like that old guy. Get off my lawn, I'm kind of a little set in my ways, but I'm flexible. B, how set in my ways are I? You've known me forever.
You are both fully set and fully flexible.
See, I'm like that girl in the in the hoochie coochie dance scene. She's like stuck and moving her body around. You know, her leg is where her head should be. Her head is where her navel should be. You know, that's me. So, again, Ed, get a hold of me at the dudeawake42 at Gmail. Dudeawake42 at Gmail. And what else is? You want to throw something in the old PayPal? Boy, your sensei Al Bob would really appreciate it. Beginning of end of months is always tough for me. I spent the last nickels. I had to get my car running in pretty good shape. So that's kind of where it is, in pretty good shape. Let's see. Let us try reaching out to GB.
Hi there. You have reached Garrick. You know what to do when you hear the beep.
The mailbox is full and cannot accept any messages at this time.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Sorry, can't talk to you at the moment. Yeah. And you know, when somebody's mailbox is full, it's either one or two things. It's a guy like me who was out in the woods that gets sparse connectivity, and so can't always clean out his box. But I try to do a good job at it. I will probably do it tomorrow. And it's the other person who is like trying to hide out, and that's what the good thing about B. B is so active that he can't do that. He can't hide from anybody. He has to be straight up out there in front of the folk. I'm going to refill my wine glass here. B, do you want a little vino?
No, thanks. I've got a.
You got a beer go.
Fizzy.
A fizzy. Ooh. So what else is going to twiddle our culinary taste buds other than the greens?
That's it.
That's it. Simplicity. That's what I like. My cooking often is too complicated. I like to get all these your pieces.
No, these are a friend of mine. Things from his collection. He died
Boom.
maybe a year ago.
How old?
Let's say,
70s?
yeah.
70s. Right. Well,
He had been a lifelong smoker. I mean, he got ill lung wise.
Right.
The last couple of years he didn't smoke, but
yeah, then you get, if you have been smoking pretty seriously for 4 years and then you quit, it still will take a toll on you.
he smoked seriously for
30 years,
40, 50 years.
40, 50 years. Well,
Yeah.
that's it.
And then
Unless you really are, spiritually aware, tobacco is, a spiritual tool. Right?
yeah.
And if you give tobacco its props, my Uncle Leo, he smoked cartons of cigarettes a day for his whole life. He died in his 80s in his sleep. He never coughed. He never wheezed. But he always, he's a Native American, and he always blessed every cigarette he ever smoked. Now, I'm sure a science world would not go along with that, but it's one of what do you call it? Conspiracy theories?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm good at. Yeah. Telling a story. So B lives right in the middle of the city, and look how beautiful this place is. He really has he's at Heaven's Gate. I mean, literally, he is at Heaven's Gate. And it's really interesting because once you go past his lot line, it gets ickier and ickier.
Where are you speaking?
That way.
You mean from my place?
Yeah, from your lot line.
I wouldn't say if you're in it.
Oh, come on. Those guys down there aren't as heavenly as this place.
No, but
That's what I'm saying. This is,
heaven and earth, man.
yeah. I mean, the guy over there, that house looks like it's, what they would call a holler house. He's got a ton of cars all in the backyard all over it. But listen to that bird. That bird loves you. He's singing in your backyard, not anybody else's backyard. He's like right over there.
Yep.
Right over there. Right over there. It's like right there. What other birds you got other than that?
Everything. Little finches, hawks.
I saw a hawk
Yeah.
with his little buddy just kind of swoop down and go that away. So he's probably living around here?
Yeah. Owls, owl bobs.
Right. Do they go crazy? When do they get?
Start crazy.
I mean, woo, 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 woo. Do they do that?
We get some of those, I guess, screech owls.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
In the deep green, that's, those are the only guys left. The other big white owls who were, they were the OGs of the neighborhood. I don't know where they went, but screech owls were still there. They still. And they're like Bigfoot. I was sitting out in my backyard the other night looking at the stars. And with my eyes, the stars look like Vincent van Gogh paintings. So I look at that. I can't tell what it is, but look at that. And they started really screeching. And I said, so, are you guys really just screech owls or are you Bigfoot? And when I asked that question, they stopped. I said, so if you're really a dimensional character, really go nuts. And so they did. And my neighbor on the other side down below me, he never comments on those things, but he said, what was that noise last night? What was that? I said, it was Bigfoot and his friends.
Yeah. No, it's a beautiful thing.
So there's a lot of that energy in this town, right?
Well, you're going to have to tell me after you check it out tomorrow.
Well, come on, you've lived here. I mean, I only lived here 10 years. You've been here 30-something years. So you must have heard tales, meaning this place, when I was here, like, what, do they still have the drag strip over there? No, but that neighborhood, right? And that bridge goes over the French Broad.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
No, they made that a park.
Well, it was always a park. No one used it except to do ceremonial murders. Do they still do that over there?
We do them here usually on Monday night.
Okay.
We invite people down and.
Right. Have a good time.
Well, it's not a good time.
Well, put on the hoods.
It's necessary.
Yeah, the necessary. Yeah. Keep the equilibriums between the spheres of the universe. And so, yeah, that's natural. It's got that. And how about, I keep telling people about the story of how Wall Street, what's the street that Wall Street kind of goes into where the library is? What's that street? Haywood?
Yeah.
Haywood. That whole little knob and all the way down to Broadway. And so Broadway is up here, goes down the hill to Lexington, and then back up to Haywood, right? What is that little road called? That goes from Haywood, and it keeps going, goes by Magnolias. Is Magnolias still here?
I don't know. I don't even know what Magnolias.
Oh, Magnolias was that bar that was right on that street on the other side, going towards City Hall. It's where the lawyers hung out, and half the restaurant was under a big awning. It was pink, and it was very southern. Now it's not hitting any bells.
It's hitting all my bells. Can't you tell?
Yeah. Anyway, that street, but where that big hill from Lexington up. What do you know of that all being hollow, where that was the old Asheville back in the day before the Biltmores got here?
I don't know much. I mean, there's a lot of different things. You know, here was Stumptown, right there.
Right there.
Yeah. You know, which got cleared out in the '60s.
And Stumptown was?
A black settlement.
Right. It's interesting how they took all the black settlements and the downtown business district and then made those housing projects that were surrounded by the highways. So
Yeah.
that,
Oh yeah.
what's the one that has the bridge that, you know, they can't get off?
Outside.
Yeah. It's like,
Helen, darling,
there she is.
could you come here for a second? Are you interested in this? This is amazing. This is the third auction of Ron's stuff. This is years after it was all sold.
Ron who?
This is, a friend of ours.
Ron
Are you
Gersha?
interested in this wool blanket? We don't know. It'll be a lot, I can tell. It's a week away and it's $25 right now. So this is the only pictures they have. It's 64 by 68. Okay, it's going to go for 5 times, 10 times that. Okay. And I know you don't want an LL Bean blanket or Hudson Bay blanket. You need any shoes? But how about this jacket for me? It's a generous and leather. This I'm interested in.
Ah.
Right now the high bid is $1.
Is that on eBay or something else?
I'm gonna watch, but I'm gonna have to sort of look at enough things to make. You have to pick up stuff in Louisville. How about these?
They won't mail it to you?
You'd have to contract a shipper. Wouldn't these be good for me?
Oh. Helen, I'm so enjoying being here with you.
Nice to have you here.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since you sat on our porch.
Yeah. This is one of the classic porches.
And Helen, I just wanted to say that I'm so enjoying being here with you. And Benjamin and Meow say hello.
Oh,
I ran into them in the cemetery.
in the cemetery. Is that your walkabout?
I mean,
Well, that's a good one. You go down some hills, you go up some
oh,
hills.
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's unbelievably beautiful.
And what is that, about more or less a mile?
Well, it depends what you do.
Well, you do that. What do you do? Do you do
I
the,
like to walk generally for about an hour.
Huh.
That would be in the morning, and that's only about. It's not as much as you'd think. You know what Benjamin said to me, Helen? You know what Benjamin said to me? He said, "We saw you down below from a distance, but you were walking so slow that I didn't think it was you, but Meow said it was." He said, "Yeah, I was in my old man phase."
oh,
Which I was.
yeah. What happens when you're in your old man phase?
I just sort of hobble along.
That's why I have the cane, because
Most of the time, I'm thinking of Helen, and I'm thinking she either loves me or she's mad at me. And the difference is,
no
for
difference.
her, it's not either.
Right,
It's
right,
always both.
right. So is both. I mean, I knew that a long time ago. But it leans more to the love side.
It leans more to the mad.
No, but that's,
It definitely leans more to the mad. There's no question.
well, which mad? Anger mad or like confused mad?
No, anger.
Anger man. Okay. So Helen, you're right there, and we're talking about you. How would you take our suppositions? Half and half. Well, that's not bad for us, you know. I'm usually about 3% right. That's not bad for a human being. Yeah, it's not bad. And on my behalf, at least I know that. Yes. I'm not going, I'm right and you're wrong. No. Pretty much not. What do I say? Don't believe a word I say. Arr. Well, that's disappointing that there is no Kroger's in this town.
You have more of that workshop to do this week. Oh my goodness, that's gonna be so much fun.
What's your workshop, Helen? Right. Gotcha. So would you say your work is mostly text or visual? Both. Even Steven? Yeah.
Helen? You remember Nancy Sugarman, right? Ron's photographs are being sold in these framed versions of 4. Well, that's all.
So what does Nancy have to do with Ron?
And they're mostly girls and semi-nudes or nudes. Well, they knew each other, and this was a photograph of her.
Oh, of her. Okay. I thought you were talking about she made the frame somehow.
No, she was the subject.
She was the subject. Gotcha. Okay. Were you ever a nude photo guy?
Oh, hell yeah.
When I was young, I definitely.
I mean, I'd bring my camera to bed and I wouldn't wear clothes. I'd get under the covers and take pictures. So I was like totally naked.
Yes, totally naked. Yep.
Nude photos by Eric Baden.
Of Eric Baden, yes.
No, they weren't of me.
Yeah.
A little, ready for a little more?
Sure. You have to leave it out on the table. My grandpa used to make wine,
Mm-hmm.
and he made it out of anything. Dandelion, you name it, he made it. And sometimes they were a bit, whoa! So he always gave us wine with a few ice cubes in it. So I got used to coolish wine, no matter what it is.
Helen likes her wine, chill, her red wine.
Well, that's chillish.
Yeah, I think I'm
Stick 'em.
since I'm going in for surgery tomorrow. I think
Yes.
I'm sticking to
Really? What? We won't go there. No big deal?
So it's a big deal.
Okay.
Did you say no or is?
It's no big deal.
So I'm going to come by after when I leave my dentist, and I'll just sit in your
Right.
office, and because I want to be with you.
All right. He's supporting you emotionally. Yep, no big deal. Energetically, you're good to go.
Yeah, that's what Helen and I are doing for retirement. We're just going to doctors all the time.
It's what my brother's doing.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
just call them up and say, "You got any free surgeries
Right.
coming up?"
Yeah.
And if they don't, we just
Right.
hang up and move on.
Go to the next. Yep. That's what my bro does. Yeah. And he's had all these surgeries, and of course, Medicare has paid for most of it, right? And he's always going on about how poor people take advantage of medicine. I said, Michael, you've had about $12 million worth of surgery on the taxpayer's nickel. You're the biggest um, welfare fraud there is. And that was the last time he talked to me in
Is this
person.
my phone?
No,
No, that's your phone.
yeah.
Where's my? Oh,
I got
here's mine.
no.
That's yours.
I got 3 of them. They all do different things.
Helen, you may use mine.
And you could use mine if you want to make a phone call.
No, I don't.
Okay, if you want to check something. And you definitely wouldn't find whatever you want to check on my phone.
What's up, Charlie?
Would you remind me to call the eye doctor tomorrow?
Is that when your appointment is supposed to be?
No, it's supposed to be on Wednesday. But I just don't.
Why don't you call them now? You'll get a message.
Yeah, and you can leave it with them.
Yeah.
And then it's done. I love that you can do that, because then the responsibility is off your shoulders. It's not your problem anymore. Hmm. So do you remember, did you watch the Star Wars movies?
The first ones.
First 3?
I think probably the
Right.
first 3.
Because do you remember that one where Luke gets his hand cut off by his dad and gets beat up pretty bad? And I think
I don't remember any kind of plot line things. Helen remembers that,
Right.
and I remember like who made it, when it was made, how much it cost, what the
right, the stuff on that.
gossip around
Right,
it
yeah,
was.
yeah. Because there's this scene where he really gets, his hand gets cut off, he's fallen through this machine, he gets thrown out into space, and they just kind of pick him up and take him back to the base, and he's totally being taken care of by robots that look like this one robot. Its face is like a crash helmet with a 1950s microphone as its nose and its face. Right, I thought that was kind of cool. And
Yeah.
and that is the medicine we're heading for. When I had this really bad infection in my leg in 2015, virtually everything was automated. Once they got me and put me on this gurney, the gurney rode along this pathway on the hallway into the x-ray room, and there was nobody in it. And the thing came down and pointed itself at the part of my leg to look at, and held my leg in a certain way and moved it around, and then moved me out. And I said, yep, this is medicine in the near future. There won't be any humans involved. Maximize the profit. Anyway, so here we are. Let's put on my eyeballs so I can see what time it is. So there's one person there, one thumbs up. I'll see you tomorrow when I take my little walking tour of Asheville, North Carolina. It's going to be a beautiful day, and I'm just going to slowly go. So until then, later. Love you guys.